Good evening and welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so lovely to see all you guys coming in, coming in. Oh, it's so lovely to see faces I know, faces I don't know quite so well. I think I know most of the people on here, but yeah. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Marina. Really, really lovely to see you. Thank you all so much for being here this evening. Right. So, where to start? It's one of those, isn't it? It's like when someone says, tell me your life story. It's like, where do you start? Where do you start? So the idea behind this, the idea of doing this online summit came as one of those. For those of you that know Beck and I at all, you know that we are very, very fond of just following our nudges. We for quite some time ago, we came across this idea that we call living supernaturally. And it was definitely impacted by an amazing book called Supernatural Childbirth, which we both absolutely read and absolutely were blown away by. And it is well worth the read, even if, I mean, I have no desire to have any more children. Beck hasn't got any kids and doesn't want any. So but as we know, you can read these books and use them as a metaphor for something else. And we were definitely looking at this as a metaphor for anything that we are birthing, and we're always up to projects, all of us in the world, all of us, we have a creative side. Every single one of us are creative. We are all always creating something. So it's a fantastic metaphor and a brilliant book. If you want to check it out, I'm sure Beck will put it in the comments. It's well worth. And please, if you do read it at all, I would really love your feedback in what you think of it. It is a religious based book, but if you can get past the religious bit, it's a fascinating read about what is possible. So that really, really, there was already a huge I'm not even going to say a spark. There was already a huge fire going with Beck and I to how we live our lives from, following our nudges. Because one of the things that I had really realized when I came across the three principles, which everything that we do is based upon, what I really saw was how life doesn't work the way we assume it does, the way that at first glance and at first, the way that we've potentially been told it does, the way that how we've come to our conditioning that it does. Life simply does not work that way. And the more that I have delved into that, the more that I'm seeing that when we actually begin to get more and more familiar with how life actually does work and align ourselves with how life does work, that's what Beck and I call supernatural living. It just works so differently. And for certainly the way that I lived my life for many, many years, the way that looked normal, it really looks as if we are going in a very, very different direction to that. But again and again and again, in pretty much everything we get up to, it blows my mind what happens when you take into account what the principles are pointing to, what being a spiritual being on a human journey, what looking in this direction, what it opens up for us and what it makes possible. So the idea for this online summit came as one of those nudges that it was just like, yeah, there was excitement, joy. We sat here. There's actually some of the people that are on the screen today who are going to be speakers over the days. And we haven't spoken to Andrea for ages, have we? Wouldn't it be great to contact Andrea? Lizzie. Oh my gosh, no, we haven't got. Oh my gosh, Angelina's got to be a part of this, and many, many more. It was a really exciting time for us. As soon as we had this idea, it was running barely before it was out of my mouth. It was running, and we have been doing our one of almost like the jewel in our crown, I guess, our conference, our in-person conference. We've been doing that for a few years now, and there is just something so beautiful about being in a room together. I know any of you guys, I know a lot of you were at Viva. I know a lot of you here have been to our conference. I know you've been to retreats and things that we've done. And there is something incredible about the energy and what happens when you get in a room together. There is something we are way, way, way more than the sum of our parts when we come together in a beautiful feeling, when we come together and look in this direction. As I said, Beck and I are really, really interested in supernatural living and what happens. And we have seen, just between the two of us, when we sit at our desk sometimes and we do something that we call standing for someone, we potentially might have a conversation about someone who we know is struggling, and we will just say, right, shall we just both stand for this person? Shall we just have a moment? And that, it literally could just be anyone. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a client, it could be just anyone, if there's something we know is going on for somebody. So almost certainly you guys will have been a part of that at some point. We will have had a conversation, said, shall we just stand for that person, have a moment and stand? And when we come together in energy like that, there is something really, truly magical created. And I can't tell you how many times Beck and I have done things like that, and then someone has said, oh my gosh, this thing happened, and we're kind of like, yeah, not surprised at all. It's really, really beautiful. And whether, it's kind of irrelevant to me. It's just so beautiful to get into that feeling, to send really good feelings to people, to feel good about people, to look in that direction and do that. So there really is something super, super special about being in a room together. So I know a lot of you guys are joining us at the conference. And if anyone is listening to this or watching this, if you're not, and you're unsure about whether you're going to or anything, do. Or no, it's a wonderful thing to do. But the idea behind doing this online was, when I first came across the principles, I was not in a great place. I was really, really struggling in my life in so many ways, like really having a hard time. And the change that happened pretty much overnight, from hearing my children were not broken, for all the things that had happened and all the things that I was punishing myself for and hated myself for and was beating myself up for, and all these things, to hear actually none of that was true, and there was a whole other way to come at this, and a whole different way to help myself, and by doing that help my children. It literally blew my mind. And me being me, any of you that know me, I'm not really a wallflower, kind of a quiet person who stands, it's I'm quite a talker. I quite like being at the front of the room. I quite like talking. I love sharing, and I love watching what happens when people begin to wake up themselves, when they begin to look in this direction for themselves. And one of the things that I have really seen over the time that I've been looking in this direction is how much every single person has got. What we are pointing to is inside of them. This is not a I know, like, we have the conference and potentially we have people on stage, over these days we are going to be having people speaking, but this is not, nobody is better than anyone else. And I cannot tell you what a weight off my mind that was. When you're working with people, when you're helping people, when you're having conversations with people, to be able to, like at the conference and like in arenas like this, just invite people into a discussion, because you just never know when somebody is going to say something that is going to be a game changer for someone else. It's just going to go in the right way. They're just going to hear it in that moment. It's just going to be what they need. And I love that mind, as Sydney Banks called it, the power behind life, source energy, God, whatever your word of choice is. I love how generous and giving that is, and how we can rely on that. When we have events like this, when we put on the conference, when we do anything, it's so, so good to just go from a place inside of you of thriving and just show up and know how much of it is taken care of. It's like, oh, this is just great. We can have a ball here, and just know that the beautiful people that take the time and show up, the likelihood that something will shift, something will change, something, they will hear something, that's not on anyone else and on anyone's shoulders, not on my shoulders or anyone. We can show up at these events and just have a really good time and trust that something amazing is going to happen. And without doubt, somebody, the things that come from coming together and sharing in this way are unbelievable. So the idea behind the conference itself as well was another one of these nudges, and the learning that I have had over the years doing this, it has been unbelievable. How much I have learned about myself, how much I've learned about how judgmental I can be, how judgmental I can be of myself, how judgmental I can be of other people, how these things, we get shown these things, and it's a beautiful opportunity to grow and learn. So wherever you are on this journey, whatever your participation in this, as I said, this isn't a them and us, and this isn't someone's better than me or there's equal learning. Honestly, no matter what happens in this, there is equal learning for anyone who shows up. You can, or even if you don't show up, that can be a learning curve too. It's brilliant. There is just so much learning to be had, and we're all learners. We are all students. We're all people exploring, and that's what this is really, just an exploration. And by sharing, it's not even the details of people's insights, the details of what people have seen and learned are fascinating and can be really fun and exciting. But more than anything, it's the magic, how the fact that that can happen to anyone. That's what's being pointed to here. And across, there's going to be many sharings, I'm guessing, of different situations and different times, but just seeing, wow, even here. And oh my goodness, even here. Oh, it's here. It's the same here, isn't it? It's the same across the board. So the conference is put on, and this is put on by the Dare2bu team, and that is me and the lovely Beck to Wade and Lou, who isn't here this evening. Lou is actually doing a paint club. For those of you that know Lucy, our Beck's sister, Lou is doing a paint club thing tonight. So she will be around over the next few days, and if any of you that come to the conference, she will be there. So, but yeah, we are quite the team, aren't we, really? And we do really, really, really enjoy doing these things. So thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Deb. So we wanted to make this like a bit of a party, so that we kind of obviously we've got a very formal schedule to follow this evening. No, one of the things most of you on here will probably already know, but in case you're new to us, we have a lot of fun, like Deb talks about. We follow our nudges, we follow inspiration, and we just love making everything we do as much fun as possible. So whilst there's a very serious spreadsheet in the background of this summit, that's my role. There's also lots of little, we thought we'd have a bit of fun tonight and come up with some little very easy games and engagement just to kind of get into the mode and the excitement of these next 3 days. Because definitely one of the things, like Deb says, when we sit in the office and we have conversations and things like that, one of the things at the root of all that is, how can we have more fun? How can we live this more? How can we thrive in different ways? And a massive part of that is honoring who we are as individuals. So when I said there's a spreadsheet behind this, I'm not joking. That's 100% me. I love spreadsheets. And the minute Deb went, oh, a summit, I went, oh, a new spreadsheet. And that, like, I love doing that kind of thing. Deb loves putting on stuff like this. So yeah, Deb hates spreadsheets. So we work very well together in that way. And that's a huge part of the nudges and the things that we get. So that's kind of how we live into that. And so one of the first things we thought would be a fun and easy one to get everybody started and warmed up is to find the chat, which probably should be at the bottom of your screen. There should be something that says chat, hopefully. And in there, pop your name and where you're from. and let's see who we've got on the call and where everyone's joining us from this evening. Because I mean, Lisa's already done that, bless her. Lisa was straight in there. So we've got Lizzie from Derbyshire, Angelina from Galway and Ireland. Who else have we got? See how fast you are at typing. Nikki in Aberdeen, Andrea in York, Emma Jo in South Wales, Joe in East London, Marina from Sweden. Oh, this is great. We've got loads of... Oh, Deb's in North Devon. Well done, Deb. Didn't know where you were. Wonderful. Pam's in Exeter. Nice. Good, good, good. Oh, Laura. Chicago, USA. Yes, I was hoping we'd have someone from America as well. Cool. Richie from Colchester. Oh, we've got a nice mix then. Is that almost everyone, I think? Fantastic. We have Andrea and Wynne from Swansea in Wales. Yes, fantastic. I can't do the accent. I'm not even going to embarrass myself and try.
We have got England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales in the house. And
we have, yes, yes, which is cool. Yeah. So good. Thank you, everyone. That's really great. We've got about 100 people signed up for the summit over these 3 days. Obviously, not everyone's made it for the launch party, but one of the reasons we kind of wanted to do that was just to get a feel for how far and wide we've managed to spread this summit. So it looks like we've touched most corners of the planet. Well, you know, no one from Lapland yet, but my sister's just been there with my nieces, so I was hoping someone might be in from Lapland, but no. Brilliant. So thank you very much for doing that. And that's our first little game. See, you're great at this, aren't you? I knew you would be. And Deb, back over to you.
Okay. So I want you guys to take a second and just think about who it was that pointed you in this direction, who it was that first introduced you to the principles. Who was it that, nudged you to look to the inside out? And it would be really, really good if everybody could come off mute, and if we could all have a little bit of we can cheer, or you can use the chat if you want to and put an emoji, but maybe say that person's name and maybe give us a wave and say, like, really put some energy around. Isn't it how blessed we are to have been pointed in this direction, that there was somebody who took the time and said something that actually opened this for us. So let's all come off mute if that's okay, or you can put an emoji in the box if you want. I can't. How do you make those balloons and those things go?
You have to go to reactions at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Reactions. Everybody put a heart or a celebration or something.
Let's celebrate the person that it was, and let's make some noise. We can clap, we can cheer, you can say the person's name, just do something. Just let's get some energy behind those amazing people. They are the reason we are in this room. So for me, it was thank you.
Auntie Deb. Who else? I can't hear you. Come on, be louder.
Come on, make some noise.
A guy called Robert, whose name I don't even know the other bit of.
Robert. Yay!
The amazing Julie Cluley.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've got to shout the name out, yeah?
Oh, we can't quite hear you, Andrea.
I see it.
Go louder, go louder.
She's on Ian Watson's. She does the mentoring. I'll put it on there.
Yeah, put it in the chat because we can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't quite hear you, but that's cool. So let's see. We've got you in the chat. We've got Anne Buckingham. Woo! Who's here? Oh, apparently you, Deb. You've made it a couple of times. Amy Johnson. Ooh, nice. Alex Waters from Swansea. There we go. Fantastic.
Nice.
My sister via Nicola Bird. Nice.
Yes, Nicola Bird and Jenny and Dave and Deb all around the same time.
Oh, nice.
A great group of people.
Yeah. It's one of those things I remember in the very early days of you doing sort of meetups and stuff, Deb and Lisa, now we might even remember some of this. You used to sit in the room and go, just for a minute, think about what had to happen for you to even be in this room. Like, you know, your parents had to meet, your grandparents had to meet, then the person that introduced you to this had to, you know, and actually how many things over the last, well, you know, 2000 years or billions of years, depending on how you see that, how many things had to come together so that you could even be, we would be on this call tonight together. And just like, I think just that kind of having a moment tonight and having a bit of a party and an introduction to what we're doing over the next 3 days, just being able to celebrate people. And Marina's just said Leanne, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce that surname, so I'm just going to stick with Leanne. So yeah, just all sorts of amazing people out there that are sharing this and bringing us together. And hopefully, you know, in another couple of years' time, someone will be on something somewhere and they'll say, oh, it was some summit that Debra Simmons put on. Yay! Yeah, so cool. Thank you very much for joining in with that. That was a bit of fun. Right now, Deb, shall I dive in with the practical bits, or do you want to do a bit more of an intro to the principles? What do you?
Oh, I missed a little bit out there, didn't I? I messed up the schedule, didn't I? See, this
told you we had a serious schedule.
What, you mean there's a schedule?
is...
Come on, guys. Don't ruin it.
Anyway.
Oh, no. That's the hilarious thing, isn't it? No, we
Oh, it is. Yeah, this is how we do it. So, shall I dive in with some practical bits?
You dive in with some bits.
This is also my favorite bit. I love the practical stuff. So what I wanted to just make sure, because hilariously this evening at round about 6 o'clock this evening, you should have all gotten an email telling you how to get here, what the schedule is for tomorrow. And in about the 20 minutes running up to that email coming out, we had half a dozen emails from people going, I've not got a link, I don't know what's happening, which always puts me like, I always, you know, keeps me on my toes. Have I sent an email out? I thought I'd done it. So I like to make sure that everybody knows exactly what they should be up to and how to get there and all that kind of stuff. So I have sent out got lots of emails ready to go out. So throughout these 3 days, there is a session this is all UK time, 10 a.m., 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. over each of the 3 days. And an hour before each of those calls, you will get an email with the Zoom link, which is the same as tonight's anyway, to remind you, to let you know who it is, where the Zoom link is, and hopefully be fairly near the top of your inbox so you can jump on the call with ease. So that is how it's going to work over the next 3 days. We'll also be sending out the replays as soon as it's possible to get them uploaded. As long as there's no more storms this week and our internet holds, that should be relatively quickly. And then we'll be sending those out each evening. So you'll have access to the replays until the 20th of December. Thereafter, we're going to build them into a very beautiful membership area, which if you want access to them forever and ever, you can have that. And we're going to put our little offer for those. But make sure you watch them, hopefully live, and if not, in the next week, if you want to do that. I'm going to read out the schedule just so you can remember what's going on, because like Deb said, we've got some incredibly amazing people. Deb was writing their names down this evening, weren't you, Deb? And every name I read out, you're like,
She said, I'll do that. They're on my piece of paper, and I said, "Oh, just put the names out so I can remember all the people." And it was like a really nice surprise for me. And she did in alphabetical order. It's like,
and then we have just got an amazing collection of people. So
that's you. You have to put me next to it. So
yeah, I did make Deb write me next to her own name, so she wasn't confused who that was. So tomorrow, which is Tuesday, the 10th of December, at 10 a.m., we've got Vicky Montague, and her topic is free from judgments. And then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got Ian Watson, being true to yourself. And then at 7 o'clock in the evening, we've got Debra, that's you, Deb, following your true desire. Yep. Then on Wednesday, which is the 11th of December, Angelina's starting us off at 10 a.m. And her topic is It's Not on Us, a renewed way of living. Then in the afternoon at 2 o'clock, we've got Lizzie, and she's going to talk about love and connection, the Christmas story. And then at 7 o'clock in the evening, we've got Andrea Morrison, who's going to talk about love and connection as a business model. Oh, yes, we've got all of Wednesday speakers with us tonight. That's great. And then on Thursday, the 12th of December, we've got 10 a.m. Denise Holland for the love of sport. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Marie Aramar, connecting with children. And at 7 o'clock in the evening, Laurie Carpeners on happy with who you are. See, told you it's an exciting schedule. I'm very excited about it all. So that, I think, that's the main practical bits. I just wanted to let you know as well, all the speakers throughout their session will have something they'll be sharing, a way of being in touch with them or connecting with them, or a free offer or resource, which I'll also be putting in the chat during the sessions. So you can access those straight away, and I'll be sending them out on email afterwards, so you won't miss out. Don't panic. Anything else? Oh, and the other thing, just on a kind of a recommendation, is if you can, over the course of the 3 days in between the sessions, take some downtime, do something, you know, out of the ordinary, go for a nice walk, have a bit of space, really allow what you're hearing over these 3 days to kind of settle in, because I know for me, that's a really helpful part of the process, is really allowing the conversation to kind of settle down inside yourself, because it can be, you know, there can be some really exciting and fun stuff showing up, but equally it can be, like Deb said, we don't live normally. We kind of live supernaturally, and we're going to be pointing to that quite a lot. And it can take a little bit of getting used to hearing that and allowing that to become a part of your day. So if it's possible, in and around the sessions, try and take some time out and just, yeah, give yourself a bit of space to be with whatever shows up. So, and I think that's all the practical bits from me, Deb, for now.
Cool. So, I just wanted to share something that tonight. I know that there are some people signed up who are pretty new to the principles and what's been pointed to here. So just for one of those, you know, if somebody has signed up and they know this is a 3 principles thing in there, you know, have you ever been in that situation? I know in my early days I've been, and people would be talking and going, yeah, but what are the principles? Yeah, but what are the principles? Yeah, but what are the principles? And I would just get in my head, because I'd heard this 3 principles thing, and then people were just talking and not saying. So just to get that one out of the way. So in case anyone doesn't know, the 3 principles are a way that a wonderful man named Sydney Banks pointed towards his spiritual enlightenment experience, his waking up moment, whatever words you want to put on that, how he pointed towards that. And the words that he used to help him point to something that is impossible to put into words, he used the words mind, consciousness, and thought. So those are what the principles are, so that we can all get it out of our heads and not worry about that. And, you know, it truly, they will be pointed to and alluded to over the time that we are together. And I wanted to share something that happened over the weekend, because one of the things that I love about this understanding is how incredibly practical it is. You know, one of the reasons that I was so taken with it when I came across the principles and heard something myself was, as I said, I wasn't in a great place, and how practical it was when I was struggling with my kids, with my relationship, with that kind of thing. So I'm not sure if everybody is aware, but down here where we've been in North Devon, there's been a really, really bad storm over the weekend. It started Friday night into Saturday, and we have had gusts of wind up to 90 miles an hour. Now, if I'm honest, that probably, you know, if I'm sitting on a screen and I have no idea, that wouldn't probably have meant anything to me, because well, how much is the wind normally? I don't know. But it was incredibly windy, like almost pretty much too windy to go outside, really. It was pretty bad. And I know a lot of you know that my partner Russ and I are doing a build at the moment, and we had bought an old agricultural barn, and we are well, we were going to be making the barn into a house. And during Saturday, we were told not to go out, not to drive if we didn't have to, because the winds were so strong. It was a red. I have never had a red alert come on my phone, and actually, our phones actually spoke to us. They did this. I don't know. It's a government thing or something. My phone was just sat there, and the next thing it started buzzing, and there's this government announcement telling you to stay in the house because the weather is so bad, and there's this red alert. So it was pretty windy. It was pretty bad, and. So, and during the storm, during the Saturday, a lot of the barn got blown down. And where our barn is, there are houses and people and cars and things like this. It's a little hamlet, and there's a few other people. And the barn has got it was wooden uprights with corrugated iron on it. And so this corrugated iron, which, I mean, in my head, I'm picturing like sharp knives just flowing, you know, going through the air. The panels of the barn were coming off the barn, and somebody phoned us to let us know. We tried to go over there. We got there and it was just clearly too dangerous. And the people that were living around just kind of said, we're going to go in our houses and shut the door. Just, you know, there was nothing that we could do, because you couldn't get, they're huge, great sheets of corrugated iron. And there was just nothing we could do. Absolutely nothing. We were just going to have to let the weather do what the weather was going to do, and go and have a look afterwards, you know, when the storm had passed. There just wasn't anything for us to do, which we did. We went home. So on Sunday morning, it was still very, very windy. The wind had dropped considerably. It was what I would call a normal windy day in Devon. Pretty windy, and not the kind of day that you would want to be up a ladder or doing anything, but much more of a normal windy day on Sunday. So we went to the barn on Sunday morning to see what the damage was, to see what happened. And by some miracle, we have got a caravan on site that we are going to move into, and we have put solar panels upon the caravan. And when I say some miracle, you know, I kind of, what's a miracle? But the caravan was untouched, the solar panels were untouched. Nobody was hurt. Nobody's property was damaged. None of these had hit. I mean, they'd landed. It was unbelievable that nothing. The worst thing that's happened is there's a gate broken, a gutter broken, and there was one other thing. There's a little. It hit the wall of the house next door, and we're going to have to, maybe Russ might have to paint or do a little bit of touching up in the wall, and that is it. That is all the damage that these things, it was literally like, whoa. But then we had the job of trying to, at this point, it was still windy enough, and there was still lots of these panels like really blowing around, a lot of noise. And it was clear that more of them were going to come off. They'd been dislodged, and it was windy enough that more of these were going to have to come off. And this is the part where I really got quiet within myself, because Russ had got to go up on a ladder in a couple of places and he was going to have to put his ladder against rotting some of the places. The only way to get there was to have his ladder leaned against some rotting wood, and he was going to have to climb up, and he was going to have to try and get these panels, these huge great panels, fight in this wind with them to get them down. And this was one of those moments. One of the things that Beck and I do every day is we really take some time and connect with the deeper truth that's within us. We connect with mind. We connect with the power behind life. And it's, you know, we are never, ever disconnected from it. But it is, we take a moment to remember who we are, to remember what is truly going on here. And all day during that day, that's what I was doing. I was just continually being grateful and thankful for this power that I knew, I just knew that this was going to be okay. And there definitely were some moments when Russ was up that ladder, and I mean, it was Yeah, he was bouncing around on this ladder and I'm stood there and I have to just keep bringing myself back to, yeah, you know, the okayness in this, you know, the okayness of no matter what, there is nowhere that mind doesn't exist. There is nowhere that there's not an okayness. There is nothing outside of consciousness. There is nothing outside of this safety that, you know, maybe in human form, things don't always go the way we want, but there is, if you get quiet and know it, there is an underpinning knowing of the okayness of this. And that was what got me through yesterday. That was what, and we've been back today. The barn, everything is now either pinned down, taken down. We're going to have to, everything is going to have to come down. We're not going to be able to use any of the bits of the barn. Now the whole lot is going to have to come down because it is unsafe long term if we had high winds again, something else. But we have managed to secure it. But it was, what I really saw in that, and that is why we run the business Dare2bu. This is why we invite people who've had their own experiences to share. This is why we get together in this way, because I can see when I lived my life before believing that it was on me, believing that, you know, I didn't have a connection to, I didn't know that I had a connection. I like to use the word God. The word God works for me, but, you know, mind, universe, source, inner being, I have, you know, whatever makes sense to you. But when I used to live my life believing, like, I can see I would have ended up with a headache and probably ill today after the stress of yesterday had I not been able to live, and as I said, the way, the words that you like to put on it is supernaturally, just get into a space of knowing the okayness of that. And there were 2 or 3 times that Russ went up the ladder and he was like, well, if I come down this time, that's me, you know, finished. And if he had fallen out off that ladder, I have no idea what would have happened to him. But he was, a few of you here have been to the barn, and the roof height is quite high on there. You're not, you know, it was quite hairy and scary, but that is what I love about the practicality of the principles. There is nothing that you are ever going to have to face in this life. And I have yet to find the thing. There is nothing that we have to face. Number one, that we are here to face alone. And number one, that we can't, you know, hand in hand when we know about mind, when we know about this power behind life, hand in hand with that, there is nothing that we can't, that is too much for us, that we can't bear. If it can happen, then we are okay with it. And to completely lighten the mood, we're here to have a party. It's like, we're here to thrive. We are really here to have fun. And I can't, after all of that happened and we got home and everything, and then Beck and I were we've been back to the barn today, secured everything's fine. And I said, is it really, really bad if I said I really, really actually enjoyed it? It's like, wow, it was literally like one of the most scariest fairground rides I've ever been on, but there definitely was, I can feel the love, the thriving, the okay, I can feel all of it in that. And that's what we're pointing to, you know, that there is nothing that is not okay here. And we are here to thrive and to have fun. And that's what we're going to be pointing to over these days. You know, this isn't just about, oh, okay, I don't have to feel so bad. No, there's way more than that. Yeah, you don't have to feel bad, but not only do you not have to feel bad, you're here to have the ride of your life. You're here to have fun. You're here to enjoy this, for it to be exhilarating, the best fun you've ever had. That's what I see is on offer when we look in this direction. And what I love about life is how, you know, when we had the idea for this, when we decided, none of that had even happened. So stories can be so fresh and of the moment, and there is always something exciting going on to share and to point each other in this direction. So thank you. Should we play a game, Beck?
Yeah, let's. Yeah. Which one do you want to do? We came up with a few. Which one appeals to you, Deb?
Oh, I know. It would be lovely to hear from people, and it's really, really great to know what's going on. So we decided that we would do a desert island game with a slight twist. So we'd like you all to have a think and think if you were stranded on a desert island and you could choose 3 spiritual teachers or people who pointed you, whatever, like that, who would you? And really, really think carefully. I won't be offended if nobody puts me at all, because I could probably get quite tiresome. I probably would just tune me off forever. But just 3 people, 3 spiritual teachers who you would love to be stranded on a desert island with. Who would it be? Let's see and stick them in the chat.
Or unmute. Yeah, unmute them.
Or stick it in the chat, whatever.
They don't even have to be alive, because we live so naturally, so that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Lizzie's off. Lizzie's straight off. Oh yeah, you quote in your book, don't you, Lizzie?
Oh yes.
This character called Hafiz, who was the Sufi prophet, he just sounded like such a lot of fun. Everything he says is he's just laughing. I've got this book of his called I Heard God Laughing, all about laughter. It's great.
Sydney Banks, Eckhart Tolle, and Dick and Benja. I believe that they potentially all met each other, didn't they?
Did they? Is that the start of a joke? Sydney Banks, Eckhart Tolle, and Dick and Benja walk into a bar.
Who's Oracle Girl? I don't know that person.
Oh, I knew Lisa would come up with somebody we hadn't heard of.
Yeah.
We'll have to look her up. Nice. You need to pick a couple more, Lizzie. You can have 3.
Yeah, they're coming.
Don't be shy.
Oh, she's gone.
Oh,
now.
Deb and Beck count as one, don't they?
Yeah. Okay.
We are one.
Good.
Deb, Dominic, and Abraham Hicks. Good one, Joe. Good one.
Oh,
Emma Joe. I thought you'd pick me for a minute.
Lizzie, Joe. Yep. Andrea's put. She's bending the rules. She's having her hubby and her 3 kids because they've taught her so much. Well, yeah.
Love it. Honestly, my husband has no idea how wise he is. He is so wise and such a good teacher. And kids are so close to their own wisdom. So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Good shout. Richie has got Sid Banks, Chip Chipman, and Dickon.
Oh, you gotta love Chip Chipman.
Dickon's busy over there on somebody else's island.
Oh, and Nita
or Johnny. Yeah. Good one.
Oh, somebody admires you, Joe. Copying you.
Oh, stolen the same as Joe. Tina, Deb, Elsie, and Sid. Yes. Nice. Oh, a few people have picked you, Deb. They're good at this game, aren't they? Nice. Good choices. Right, has everyone joined in? Anyone? Any more takers? Anyone
got any ideas? It's really lovely, isn't it, to know who people.
Yeah. Oh, Marina's got Sydney Banks, my Sufi teacher, on the other side, and Elsie Spittle. Nice. Oh, a few have gone for Sid and Elsie as well.
Yeah, Sid and Elsie's a good combination, isn't
it? Yeah. See that one working. Yeah. Oh, Nikki's got to go. See you, Nikki. She's off to a desert island. She's like, oh, that sounds fun.
Love
Who needs a 3-day summit? Nice. Oh, Frank's joining us as Nikki leaves. Frank's joining the party. We'll put him on the spot, shall we, and make him answer all the questions that he's missed. Nice. Oh, that was fun. Yeah, it's nice to see
lovely to see you.
Hello. Sorry, I'm late.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, everyone.
This is the lovely Frank, everyone.
This is that Frank.
Lovely sometimes.
Well, I've never known you not be lovely, so in my mind, you're lovely all the time. So
right, Liz's gotta go. So Thanks,
Oh,
Lizzie.
thanks.
He's
Who's going to come in? Because she's going to.
We were just in the middle of playing a game, Frank, so we thought we'd put you on the spot and you can join in straight away. And the game is if you were
Crikey.
stranded on a desert island and you can have 3 spiritual teachers with you, who would they be? Don't be embarrassed. Answer quickly. Go.
What did everybody else say?
Well, no, you can't copy other people's answers, Frank. This isn't school. Come on.
They're in the chat, I believe, Frank, if you do want to.
We've had some great
We
answers.
have had some great answers.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
I don't know if you get.
own.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the chat because you only just joined, but
Okay.
feel free to join in or not. It's fine.
Well, I do like the sort of stuff that you talk about, Deb. I think you'd be quite a good candidate.
Oh, you made the almost list then, Deb.
We've had some kind of okay conversations in our time, haven't we, Frank?
Yes, we have indeed. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Hang on.
He's gone to his desert island.
Yeah, I thought he ran away then. Can't cope with the pressure, can you, Frank?
I mean, there's a lot, isn't there? So many amazing people, and it's different things chime with you at different moments. It's really cool. And
That's why you
sometimes
get 3, you see. That's why you get a 3,
Yeah.
3, so that you can, you know.
Magic number, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you could have me, Beck, and Lou. I mean, could you imagine that, Frank?
Not bad, not a bad.
Not bad,
team.
Frank. No wonder he came late to the call.
Oh no.
Anyway, we will.
We love you, Frank.
We love you. You know that.
Love you too.
Cool.
Right then. Shall we see if anybody's got any questions at this point? We just thought we'd have, a few minutes to say if anyone's got any questions about the summit or anything that Deb shared tonight. The floor is yours. You can ask anything you like. We've got about 12 minutes, so make it, challenging, won't you? But yeah, if anybody wants to ask anything, now is a moment. You can unmute and dive in or wave your hand at me. Yes, Marina, can you unmute? Yes, perfect.
Dear ladies and dear all, I'm very delighted to be invited. Thank you, Beck. That was really magical. Yeah, I went into quite a low state of being after Viva. It was such a deep, coming back to reality. This you want to continue this vibe kind of forever. Yeah, and so far, primarily in Sweden. Yeah, I see no ways. Yeah, to do it. So you are really God sent in my world. So thank you so much for that. Embarrassing part that Deb, tomorrow we have guests we cannot move. So I will be terribly missing you speaking. And I really hope that there will be an opportunity to dive into recording or something, and devote it a real time and day. So I really want to do it, and I will be catching up on it. So thank you so much for what you do. It's such a joy of light in this kind of dark time of the year, which is not always easy.
Yeah.
So I really hope for your vibes extending into my world. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. And actually what you kind of said there is very much the inspiration behind this. Like Deb started at the beginning of the call kind of saying that we have the in-person event. And actually pretty much since we started that, we've had so many times where we've gone, we kind of want to keep the conference going, but I don't know if the venue would let us have it for 365 days because 3 days seems to be their maximum. But how do we kind of keep this going outside of the conference? And like you say, we kind of came home from the Viva event and you kind of almost go, oh, I want to keep this going. And that's part of the inspiration, to kind of go, right, let's just keep keep in this conversation. That's something we talk to a lot, isn't it, Deb? Keeping in the
Absolutely. But
conversation.
this is all. I don't know. I'm now living kind of day by day without any planning.
Yes.
That's also quite new thing to me, rediscovering myself. I just finished education in hospitality and hotel management, and that to do with events quite a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
And there are quite a few ideas about events and retreats, but we have nearly nothing happening here in Sweden, and especially in that part where I am. So Denmark has a lot. So I'm on the border with Denmark. The rest of Sweden is kind of nearly far away as you, from where I am. So I'm starting to think, well, and I have the most beautiful place for events and retreats on the coast, and thinking maybe God will send me someone for whom I can do retreat. Maybe we can do something here. You're all everybody welcome to Sweden. Let's do something and continue it. This country needs a lot of light. So many people are deeply depressed. It's very material. It's so different vibe, the culture. So, and especially for foreigners, it's kind of very depressing. Yeah. So we have a chat back on that. So
I mean, we'll have a speak about that specifically, but the point, kind of what you're saying and what I'm hearing in that is the nudge that Deb talked about, the kind of nudges that come through us, that inspiration that's like, oh, I want to do something, and I've got a very beautiful country in which I could do something, and those kinds of nudges there's something really beautiful about
and
following
that's why
that
also I did my I had an internship which I did with Sheila and Sue with Viva. So it's kind of I'm bit by bit getting forward. So thank you so much. And I love also, of course, I mean, we never can substitute with online a live meeting, but it's still such a wonderful way to connect and keep it going. And I am working and deeply connected with people who are like expatriates and all over the world in all different places. None of them know, or at least my guess, never heard about Sydney Banks. So I have this vision. How can I take this to this global community? That's what 3 principles need. And I don't feel really confident in my own capacity, to teach, because I'm quite, swapping back and forth, between things. But that's really, so if you hear something in that, let's talk, let's chat, let's see the way, because that would allow people to live online really and have this safe home from home, away from home. So that's out of my world. So thank you so much. Deeply grateful to be here.
Great to have you.
Looking forward to all speakers.
Thank you, Marina.
Thank
you. I'm sure you're going to hear plenty of things over the week that will encourage you and help you see all of what you said there, see more deeply. So cool. It's great to have you. So how are we doing for time, Beck?
We've got a few minutes left. If anyone else has got any questions or comments, or we could do one final little game on the list. But they're all grinning. They want a game, don't they? You can just tell. They're like, come on.
Come on, do a game.
Yeah. Shall we? Shall we do you want to do the next one on the list, Deb?
Which is I like both of the ones that are left. So
all right, you pick. It's your summit. You pick.
I will let you pick. Both of them are,
Oh, all right. Well, I'll pick. Because one of my favorite things in the world is books, so I'm going to go with that one. So the next question, and again, you can either share it or you can put it in the chat, or a bit of both. We'd like to know what your most impactful book has been, a book that you have read or listened to that has had one of the biggest impacts on you. And then I'm going to gather a list of them and actually share that with everybody in one of the many emails you'll get over the next 3 days. I'll put here's a recommended book list. Thanks to everybody. So what has been the most impactful book that you have read in the last, however long you've been in and around this conversation?
There are too many.
It's a toughie, isn't it? Yeah, see, it's a toughie. You said you wanted another question, Andrea.
I'm going to say it's one I'm enjoying at the moment because I have to say, like you say, what would I say? Oh, that's what I'm enjoying at the moment. I'm not sure.
Okay, cool. So Laura said The Space Within, Michael Neal. Nice, good one. Deb's The Way of Mastery. Somebody should have told us. Jack Pransky, The Alchemist.
The Bible, yeah.
Bible.
Yeah.
Quest of the Pearl. A New Earth. Angels in My Hair. I love it. Angels in My Hair. Yeah, got it. Just checking. Yeah, I was going to say the same, Richie. Conversations with God, book 1. That was definitely one of my biggies. Dear Liza, Sid Banks. Yeah, nice. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. So, seeing as how Richie said Conversations with God, I'll pick a different one. Ooh, what would be my other one?
And you've got to have a bit of Byron
Oh, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Yes, very good. Very good, Frank. In any Chronicles of Narnia. A Mind at Home with Itself. The Relationship Handbook. Inside Out Revolution. Yeah, that would be one of my other ones as well. I think everyone keeps stealing mine before I've had a chance to type it in.
Did our electric sing then?
I think our lights just went, but the on still. Wisdom Jesus, that was another biggie for
Wisdom
me.
Jesus, yeah. I feel like
Dying to Be Me, Anita Morjani. Power, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anything by Elsie Spittle, yeah. Nice. There's some good books there, guys. If you weren't busy for the next 3 days, you could all start reading. Fantastic. Well, that's a great collection of books.
It is. It is. We will put the list.
I will. I'll gather them together. I'll save the chat in a minute, and then we'll put that out on one of the emails because, and a lot of books are available on Audible and stuff these days as well. So if you like Deb and you like to listen, and if you're like me, you can read, they're a good collection of books.
I am just gonna dive in with one more.
Oh, you want to get the last one in, don't you, Deb?
I do.
Go on then.
I do. You gotta squeeze it.
1 minute to answer this one.
So most of you, I am sure, probably know that on my YouTube channel, just over 12 months ago, it's been my birthday. Last week was my birthday, and I was 61. So the year before I was 60, and I've been doing 60 conversations to celebrate my birthday. And I feel like I've done something like 55, and there's a couple more. So I'm just a couple of conversations short. So who would you love me to have one of my 60 conversations with? So that you can listen to that conversation. So pop that in the chat or let us know, get in touch with us because I always love ideas I've got some amazing ones on there and I believe I have. Yeah, I really, really have. Honestly, it's been mind-blowing having conversations with people. So
I'm going to put one on there straight away.
Are you? Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to post what I was typing when you posted that, right?
Me. Well, that's a win then, isn't it?
Let's get it organized. Let's get it sorted.
Also, wisdom was practical. It was telling me to be cheeky.
Yeah.
This is what I love. And if you get a nerd to go with it, I reckon I'm going to, I'm going to ask Mark Howard because why wouldn't you? Mavis Khan.
We've got Mavis Khan, Mark Howard,
yeah,
Andrea Morrison, Byron Katie, Beck. Oh, I'm already on there, but we could go again. We did actually say we might do it again. Indra, Rachel Singleton. That's a good one.
Well, any that go on there and if there ends up being.
Ooh. You'll have to do a whole another 60 just to make it, an even number.
We've actually got one lined up with Laurie, I believe.
Yeah. Yes, we have. Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can. Does anyone know we can try and reach out to Byron Case? That'd be amazing. I would love that. Let's give it a go. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. Let's ask. We'll tell her that both Frank and Emma Jo said it has to happen. And who can argue with them? Right, I'm going to save the chat now. So if anyone's got any last minute books or suggestions, throw them in quick, and I'm going to save the chat. Make sure to reach out to all of those people. Fantastic. Well, that's 8 o'clock. That went fast, didn't it?
It did. It did. It did.
Oh, and we've just had number 100 sign up for the summit. Yeah. And she's called Andrea. Well, that has been a very fun party.
It has.
Anything we've missed? We've said everything you need to know.
Yeah. And if anyone has got any questions that they either for whatever reason didn't want to ask on here or just want to, whether it's about this or anything else, I mean, if you didn't know that Becca and I were the kind of person you could ask before, surely you do now. We always love hearing from people in our community. So feel free to reach out if there's any questions about anything. We are going to have a blast over the next 3 days. Thank you guys for being a part of it. I'm so excited for the conversations that are coming, and yes, I cannot wait. So thank you so much for being here this evening, and see you over the next few days. It's going to be like we're at a conference together.
Thank you, everyone.
Haven't got your tickets for the live event, do get it and do it then in March too. Love you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.